Hey guys, I hope you all have been doing well. As you can see, I'm in a hotel right now. Again, if you don't have all my socials and everything, you probably won't know what's going on. And so I apologize I haven't posted on this channel in a while, but today they just released the cast for Survivor 50, so I knew I had to do a video on it, even despite where I'm at right now. Because again, there's always been a lot of hype going 550 being called in the hands of the fans, being what the fans want. And there's definitely question marks on that, but in fact, the fact we're getting a fucking returning blind season, it's definitely exciting. Like, this is some places that we've been wanting to come back for a while now, and the cast has just been revealed today. And I'll be honest, I really don't know how I feel about it, honestly. It's one of those I'm excited for certain players, and then some players I'm like, why? But that's kind of fortunately known for turning player seasons. There'll be some players like, oh my god, yes, finally, finally! And this player's like, really? You chose that player over that player? Of course, there are a lot of players that were apparently kind of rumored on, like maybe finally going to see Greg return, because he was Sean Rector finally return. Like, why not Sean Rector? Seriously? Are we ever going to get him to return? And of course, other players, like Malcolm, Jonathan Penner, Bram Cicinino, Jerry Manthey, that apparently were in the rumors that were talked about possibly returning. Hell, I wouldn't even mind Adam Marie returning, honestly. Of course, the other players they want to return, with sitting for Kyle Wrong, Omar, Jesse. Like, I'm shocked the Carolyn's on this cast, because of her recent on the traders, which is funny considering a couple of players that we'll get that when we get there. But yeah, like, I'm definitely excited for some of these players, honestly. I'm sure the season will turn out good, honestly, considering that we do still have a lot of high caliber players and a lot of players that we know will play hard and will play in interesting ways. But again, the fact that we have some players that are more than others are like, really? So I'm just gonna have a quick discussion on my thoughts on the cast, honestly. And suppose we also have like two players that come in 49 that are coming as well, so I'm not gonna talk about those obviously, because 49 has not aired yet, so. But if we have one of the biggest surprises that I was not thinking of, that's Jenna Lewis, who I was not expecting Jenna Lewis. She wasn't even on my thought process, but that's how the cast, I'm like, okay. Again, it's never 21. It'll be 22 years since she last competed on All Stars. Which again, a season that had no idols or advantages or anything. So that's gonna make for an interesting season. Which I know she's been wanting to go on the show for so long again. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, honestly. I'm not. Well, she'll do well or not. Well, some people will do well or not. It's definitely gonna be up in the air. But she one place I'm actually excited for. I think has a lot of potential. And now we have Kobe Donaldson for his fourth time on the show, which again, I'm not complaining about Kobe, honestly. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how he does, considering the fact that he's now more about headspace. I'm sure he's like more knowledgeable about Survivor nowadays, and of course, there's gonna be his first season where I have Jerry on the show. Like, was Jerry was in the running before she got cut for one of the big cuts, unfortunately, which it's kind of disappointing, honestly. It's gonna be interesting how Kobe does in his first season without Jerry. Honestly, an adversary or someone involved in his run. Honestly, like I worry he do well, not stuff up in the air. To be honest, like, see Kobe doing well, to be honest, but he'll bring a good enough TV, so that's really all I care about. And then we have Stephanie, who I really don't know how I feel about Stephanie. To be honest, like I'm sure it was gonna be one of those inevitable kind of things they will get at some point down the road. Except this is like a sorry fit. Beauty still bring a lot of legacy. That's why, but I'm really not surprised about Stephanie returning. Again, I don't know how well she would do, honestly, and how great a personality she will be, considering her recent wins on St. Grass and Traders, but, I'm not opposed to it. I'm never not opposed to seeing Suri back. It's like her sixth time on Survivor. It's only fifth on the US, but of course, there's a lot of fact that she's going to be on A versus the World, which is strange considering that the reason they cut Karen, of course, she was on the Traders, but yet Suri's on that season, and they went another player we get into, which is really strange and very disappointing. But again, I know people like I know a lot of people are tired on seeing Suri recently. To be honest, Suri is one of the players I can never get tired of, honestly. I mean, maybe her Big Brother 25 pitch wasn't the best, but Second the Grass and the Traders were fantastic, especially on the Traders, which I did do a video where basically I ranked a lot of appearances on Suri if you want to check that video out. But yeah, I'm not opposed to seeing Serena again on Survivor. Again, I don't know if she win or not, but it's up to the air. But again, I'm not opposed to Serena. Also seeing her on season of Colby again would be interesting. And now we get to one of the more questionable choices. That's Ozzy. Like, why? Now, it's like I don't hate Ozzy by any stretch, honestly. I love Ozzy. But why did we have to see him compete for a fifth time? Like, really? Ozzy of all people? Ozzy? Again, I'm not hard to hate or anything. I do love the guy, especially from his first three appearances. I thought he was incredible television, had great story moments. But this game Japan really proves that we pretty much are going to get what we get from Ozzy. So I think from aspect of being top 15 makes sense, but it's like, he could be getting one else better than Ozzy. Uh, who knows? He could actually surprise me. We could get a much better type of Ozzy, honestly. I mean, he actually played pretty well and might get some more character moments, might get a little more to what we want from Ozzy in Cook Islands and his first three seasons. So, and also he's on season with 3 again, so we'll see how that goes. Now we get to play it. I was not even thinking he was going to be on this cast because, like he said, he was going to retire from the show. But at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, I'm excited for a coach return. Like, it's because I actually used to despise Coach when Token Sheens and his villains first there, but now I'm a Coach lover for life. But he's one of he's probably my favorite character and all. He's probably in the way with Tony. He's probably my favorite character in all Survivor, and for good reason. And of course, many years later, after his time on South Pacific, where obviously he lost because of not wanting to own up his game. So it'll be interesting what he does. Again, what he do well, not coming up. Yeah, but either way, we know we're gonna get like Coach great character moments. So that's really all I care about. And then we have Aubrey, who is definitely one of the most wide choices on the board. Again, from what I just heard on, say apparently Amanda Kimball was going to be on her spot. Again, supposing Aubrey was actually a last minute addition, and supposedly Amanda Kimball was going to be, but she got dropped down last minute. So supposedly Aubrey was kind of like a last minute addition. But just one player that I'm like, I'm not sure what we can give Aubrey on the fourth time, honestly. Like, I feel like it's, like some Ozzy probably like more the same, honestly. And it's like, would she do well this season or not? Again, I really don't know. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. And then we have Christy from Heroes vs. Heroes vs. Hustlers, who finished second. And I'll say, I'm not like the biggest Christy fan, of being honest, mostly because, again, she has some great moments, but I think because her attitude at points, just kind of running the wrong way at a lot of points, so. I'll say, between Chris, I'll say, I was kind of hoping that Kellen probably the one to return over Christy, or maybe both of them will return, like. But, but again, it's been a long time since the season, so no, might actually change my opinion on Christy, so we'll see how it goes. And then we have 3 people from David's Club, and like, yes, some David vs. Goliath representation, and having 2 of the players that I've been wanting to come back. Of course, those 2 people being Christian and Angelina, who, again, I'm ecstatic to see return. Like, they're probably some of the biggest songs on the board, honestly. But I wasn't sure if I've gotten to this point, but I'm ecstatic to see Angelina and Christian turn. Like, Christian is probably one of my favorite characters. He's probably my favorite player on David's Goliath, so I'm definitely ecstatic. Has some of my favorite moments in Survivor period because of Christian. Not sure how well he'll do on return, honestly, because he's probably one of the biggest threats on the board because it's Christian. But I don't know, it's not surprised me. And same with Angelina as well. Again, she was probably one of the biggest characters, had definitely a good strategic mind. Well, she just didn't elevate that to a win, obviously. But she's definitely one of the best characters on that season, and I feel like no matter what we're getting great Angelina content, whether she ends up getting like a new sign of Angelina this season, we ends up playing well, or we might get Angelina flame out. Either way, it's gonna make awesome television. And then we have Mike White, who I don't know, someone I never thought I would want to see play again, but see play again, once because certainly he is a big TV presence right now. Obviously, he's an actor. He's working on the White Lotus, which as a film nut, I've only watched the first season of actually, and I'll say definitely worth the hype, and I'm excited, and I'm definitely excited to finish watching the other 2 seasons. And I wasn't, because it's I wasn't sure if I wanted Mike return or I didn't expect it, but honestly, I'm really not complaining about my return, honestly. Like, and he was a fantastic character on this season, had many great moments, was probably one of the most impressive runner-ups in all Survivor. And again, a lot of people still think that he probably should have won, honestly. Like, and to be honest, I'm kind of on that same mode, honestly. Where if he really fought more hard final finals, he probably could have won the season. Because he did play a pretty impressive game. So, yeah. Wasn't sure if I wanted my final return, honestly, but to be honest, I'm really not complaining, especially with Angelina and Christian on board. Tell me again. I probably wish if David would also return, honestly, but Anyway, you know what I mean? I'm happy as Mike. And then we get to the last, like, kind of pre-old era. We have Rick Devens, which, duh, Rick Devens is going to return because it's Rick Devens. And what you have now, he's definitely a very popular player. And Jeff, I'm glad from how he was the first, like, first co-host on his podcast. So, yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not opposed to it, honestly. Like, I like Rick Devens, honestly. I know he has a lot of haters, honestly, and I totally get that. But I've always liked him as a character. Like, I think what will happen to him, I'm sure we get some great character moments, whether he, like, makes it fun again or he flames out again. We'll see how it goes. And now we get to the new era portions, which is definitely a bit complicated in terms of my feelings. First of all, I'm not really. Of all the players on this cast, Jonathan, honestly, I'm not really excited for, though I knew it was going to be inevitable because they love Jonathan for some reason. Who knows? He might surprise me this time, but I'm pretty sure like it's one of those cast members was like, yeah, we're probably gonna get rid of Jonathan for 42. So, but again, who knows? I might go up on Jonathan this season, so we'll see how it goes. Then we have two people from 45, which we have the winner in D, who again it's definitely surprising because Borsa she actually just finished. She was going to be on Challenge 41, which Borsa just finished filming. She's come back already for 48, which makes the whole challenge situation kind of questionable if you think about it, but. Again, I'm not opposed to D coming back, honestly, and I knew we'll probably get like at least one new era winner. Again, what I personally want one Mary Ann personally. When it comes to female winners, how I probably prefer Kenzie, if I'm being honest. Again, I'm not complaining about it on D return, honestly. Again, I don't know what she make fun, honestly, but I'm not opposed to it. What I'm actually excited for, though, is an Emily Flippin return, which I was not expecting, because obviously she made clear many times that she wasn't going to be on Side 50, so I'm not sure what changed, honestly. But I'm not complaining whatsoever. She was easily my favorite player from 45, honestly, one of my favorite new era players. It's because I was someone that went from, someone that basically went from first episode being a very hated person to a very beloved player. And that's now, she would go through one of the best character arcs ever, and I'm a sucker for her character arc, so I'm not sure how well she'll do on return, to being honest, but either way, I'll be happy either way. And we have three people from 46, which I was not expecting, honestly, but yeah. But first up, we have Tiffany, who is probably the most WTF choice, honestly, because again, this is a celebration of our 50th year by Tiffany, of all people. Which again, I'm not opposed to Tiffany return, obviously. I'm not complaining about Tiffany return. I like Tiffany. She definitely has some great character moments and had a great flame out, but really, on this type of season? But again, I'm not opposed to it, though. I am not opposed to a Tiffany return. And of course, and of course we have Q, who, again, it's Q. So I think of all the new era players, Q was probably the biggest lock on the board, probably the best character we had in Cypher in a long time. Same whether he's a duo or not is up in the air, but he's gonna make great TV nonetheless. And he has Tiffany, who he had kind of back and forth rivalry with, so it's gonna be interesting how that plays out this season. And then we have Charlie, who, one is not the most interesting TV in the world. I'm not complaining, and I'm not surprised he's on this cast because he's probably, isn't that Bailey the best non-winning new era player? How he was like one vote away from winning, but basically, well, his closest ally Maria basically ended up voting Kenzie because of the Fire and Ice thing, which I don't got a lot of hate, which I don't say Maria does not deserve all that hate, honestly. And of course, if it went to a tie, that would cost a tie, and I know Charlie was, but the Charlie was like one vote away from winning. He's basically the new, like, yeah, probably should have won person, so. Would that make a big one? Not? I'm pretty sure. I'm definitely curious. Overall, I'm definitely curious though how Charlie's going to play this season. I don't know if he makes it pretty fun and saying doesn't play the game. It could. He's one of the players that could have legs. He's one of the players that could be an all-timer depending on how he plays. If he makes it pretty fun again. And then we had the first 47 player, which I'm there's only one player. I probably was hoping we would see Andy, who is my favorite player from that season. Then we have Genevieve, who I'm not supposed to Genevieve. Like I don't say like I love Genevieve like everyone else seems to, but I'm not opposed to Genevieve return. Like she definitely had a lot of great moments, had a lot of great character moments, but again in a pretty impressive way. So I'm not opposed to a Genevieve return, obviously. Again, probably more chose other players, but I'm not complaining away. And then we have three people from 48. Three people from 48. Which I'm not kind of surprised. Like, I knew one player was coming in 48, but really? These three players? Which again, I'm not complaining, honestly. Like, we have Camilla, Joe, and Kyle. Again, Joe, I'm not surprised, honestly. If everyone's coming at 48, it's also going to be Joe. who I do have some conflicting opinions on, I'm not gonna lie, mostly because of how big of an edit he got, and the fact that he was obviously going to win. He did end up winning the season, which was kind of surprising. He's one of the players that does have some great emotional moments. Like, people, they really love Joe. Of course, it was the honor and integrity thing that it's kind of, that's mostly because what led to a lot of sound gameplay in the merge portion of Way 8. But, I'm not opposed to it, honestly, and, he might interest Brighton might get, more of a fun side of him this season. Honestly, oh no, he's one of the players that I'd be shocked if he does make a deep run. And then we have Camille and Kyle, who, I'm not opposed to Camille and Kyle returning, but, this soon? Okay. Not sure how well they will do on this season, but I'm not opposed to it either. And Kyle's the most interesting character, but he has great moments and has a really good edit. So I'm not sure how well Kyle will do on this season. He ran that win, which might end up being a really boot, honestly, but again, I'm not opposed to it. And same with Camille returning as well. I'm not sure that'll make them a target, but yeah. And like I said, we have 249 players returning, which I think a lot of people seem a bit shocked by, but again, I'm not surprised, honestly. And considering the returning player seasons, it's not surprised. So we'll see how those players end up doing on their returns. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, that's my general thoughts. I think I'm overall conflicted on the character. There's some players I'm man, if you're celebrating 50 years, you really want to have this type of cast, and especially with being 24 players. It's supposedly still gonna be a 26-day season, supposedly. So it's gonna be interesting how they're gonna do that. Honestly, it's really gonna be surprised at how they're gonna be doing that. But yeah, more players means more great character moments and more awesome. And again, it's celebrating 50 years of Survivor, being some great figures again. Often the cast I would want, honestly. Again, if I'm thinking, I want players Ramses Anino, or Greg Buis, or Sean Rector, or Malcolm Freeberg, or Jonathan Penner. Why not Jonathan Penner? He would have been a perfect choice on this cast. But I'll see. It'll be a lot more new era than I expected. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be more old school, honestly. But it's basically an old school / new era season, which I was not expecting, honestly. So Again, it's one of those things I don't know how see how the tribes are going to be forming, honestly, so we'll see how that goes. But, I'm not opposed to a type of season, and we'll see how it goes, honestly. Honestly, I'm sure we'll get some great moments, obviously, and everything, and more information. I'm sure you're more excited, especially finding the 245 players. And again, we have a year till 40, almost a year till 50, but again, spend cast and everything. I'm just so excited. I am still pumped for this season. I am still excited to start the cast that we got, honestly. I'm sure we'll get some really great moments, some great aspects of this season. Again, we have a training playing season, almost 9-10 seasons later, so it's ridiculous to wait this long for a training playing season, but again, I'm not complaining. So yeah, those are my thoughts. So let me know. So those are my general thoughts on the cast. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments.